Welcome to Your Inspired Journey. I'm Carla Andrews, and I have the pleasure to be here with the amazing Savannah Schroeder, who is an entrepreneur who works with women and definitely help them in areas of their lives with time, with freedom, and definitely with other things to just lighten up and giving them a positive journey in what it is that they love to do. Welcome, Savannah. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great this morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm so glad that you're here with us because I know the last time that we've had our conversation, there was so much that we covered. But I wanted to first start just share with the world who you are and really just how did you get to this point of your journey as an entrepreneur, as a mom, and serving others.
Right. Okay. As you said, I'm Savannah. I'm a Midwest mom. I'm passionate about natural and holistic living and creating a life that you're really excited to wake up to each morning because I can say that's not always been the case. We can dig into it a little deeper later, but I had a decade-long corporate career that I left last year to pursue my dreams of, being my own boss and
Mm.
created kind of two platforms that I utilize to do that. On a personal level, I'm married to my college sweetheart. We have an almost 2 year old little baby girl who really is my inspiration each day. And right now, I run a blog called Trendyhippie, and I launched a platform called Chase Your that I hope will inspire women to create lives that they love.
I love that. You could share a little bit about you when you mentioned that you're home, you're working from home, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Awesome. And so you're able to raise your baby, and you said she's 2 years old. So how did you go from the corporate to how did you do that transition, right? From the corporate world, being able to create the lifestyle that you've always dreamed of.
Yeah, well, it was a long time coming. So I started in the corporate world back in 2010, right out of college. And there's a lot of nuances along the way. So forgive me, this is kind of a long winded answer to your question. But in 2013, my then boyfriend, now husband, had some health issues we were dealing with. And they found out the culprit of it all was a brain tumor. So he had
Mm,
to get that removed. Underwent surgery down in Chicago. And kind of after I had to go back to work after being with him in the hospital and spending time just realizing how precious life is, there was that spark inside of me that said, I want to do something to help impact more people and make more of a difference in what I'm doing right now. But on the flip side, I was really the stable one in terms of income and job security. So I stayed in that role as you know, spoiler alert, for another 7 years until I had my daughter. And I realized I really wanted to be an integral part of her growing up. So that's what sparked me to actually make the leap in going out on my own, and also a kind of abrupt passing of my father also helped
mm,
me realize how precious time is and that we shouldn't
yes.
wait for the right time to do things.
Wow. And time is precious.
Yeah.
You never get that back. So did you find it where how you define success in the corporate world versus all of the different things that happen and having your baby, having your relationship at home and building your business at home, have you found yourself literally changing how you define success?
I always have migrated to this quote from Bob Dylan, and it says,
Hmm.
I don't know the exact quote, but something along the lines of, if a man wakes up in the morning and goes to bed at night, and in between he does what he wants to do, then that's success. And I still do feel like that's true. In the corporate world, I think people are incentivized by more flashy things, titles and promotions and more money. But at the end of the day, that wasn't fulfilling to me. So
Hmm.
I wouldn't have deemed myself successful, even though people may have from the outside. So I
So being
definitely
that you,
feel more
yeah.
successful now. Even though life is simpler, it's quieter, maybe not as flashy, but I'm happier.
You're happier.
Yes.
And so do you feel that you're closer to fulfillment, or like what inspires you, or who inspires you for that fulfillment?
Yeah. I'd say it's definitely my daughter because you can tell a child a lot of things. You can say, you can be whatever you want to be and all of those words, but I feel like the best way is to set an example. So if I actually am moving towards my dreams and trying to make them a reality and she sees that, that would be the best incentive for her to learn from. So she really is my inspiration each day.
So you want her to be that example of what success or happiness or fulfillment looks like.
Yeah, and no matter what that is, because I came from a very traditional household and I was the first to go to college, like the first kid to go to college. So I think for my parents, that was certainly success. You always want better for your children than what you had, but and that going to college, getting a job in a corporate setting and, moving up the ladder, that's kind of the standard path. But my daughter's name is Jade. I want her to know that, success doesn't have one particular blueprint and one
Hmm.
thing that it looks like. It's really, if you are listening to your heart, your intuition, um, helping others along the way and making an impact, then success can be a bunch of different things.
So Jade is growing up. I'm sure she's a beautiful young lady. She's watching mom and growing, making moves in lives, and not only in others' lives but in her own life. And if you ever find yourself, like, if you were back in a younger age, what would you tell a younger Savannah? Which interestingly is like Jade coming up. So almost, what would you be telling Jade as she's growing up, right? When she's
Yeah.
15, 12, what would you tell your younger self of something different than what you've learned from where you are right now?
Right. I kind of alluded to it. So my parents, when I was young, they separated. So they were both divorced and remarried, which I had a lot of love in the house, but also a lot of expectations I think were put on me. And I kind of held my worth to fulfilling people's wants and not allowing
Hmm.
disappointment. So I think that's how I got to, the corporate world and that false maybe success because I wasn't prioritizing things that I wanted to do. So I would go back and tell myself that it's okay to, listen to those little voices or wants, that it's not selfish, that you really can make a career out of anything these days, and really that the opportunities are endless. So what I want to instill in Jade is, I guess, that possibilities are limitless, and I don't want to put her in a box that maybe comes from my wants. Maybe she'll love the corporate world. Maybe she'll dream of like being an accountant or something. Not what I, saw for myself, but if she does, I'll support her.
Because definitely, entrepreneurship is not for everyone. And sometimes we can be satisfied with just helping and serving a different cause, right? A different mission, and just be a part of this bigger mission, which could be in the corporate space.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
and so it's a matter of choice. But to know that she'll have that choice,
Right.
that's a beautiful thing. And to know that, as you're making this reflection about, wanting to almost like seek approval, would you say? to
Mm-hmm.
see
Yeah.
to and it was interesting how you mentioned the word like false success.
Mm-hmm.
So you may have felt that it was success, but was it a success on the outward, but on the inside you wanted more, right? You wanted more in
Correct.
regards to what success is. And I tell others, it's like, success is for us, but a lot of times we yearn more for to help serve others. And so we want more of a significant type of life
Mm-hmm.
versus just success for myself. So, uh, and with Jada growing and seeing you, just blossoming into this wonderful human being of helping others, of taking care of herself, I'm sure she's going to take a lot of that message and add it into her life and be able to even add value to others because of what it is that you're doing right now.
Well, thank you. I hope so. I know she's only 2, but
It's a lot to put on her, right?
instilling that, yeah.
But you know what I tell, I always share with with those that I speak with that childhood is only 18 years. People don't realize, and in the sense of that, those 18 years go by so fast. And so you have 18 years to pour into them and add value to them because, just like what I've done, right? Once I went to college, I never went back home.
Right, yeah, me too.
And people are not